right? Shalom, right? So the spirit jumped on me just to go do an improv, right? Just go flow through the spirit. I was doing some studying, just going over a little this and a little that. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of misconceptions that our people, think in their mind. We're gonna go to this word misconception. So a lot of stuff that you've been taught either is incorrect information, either it's a half truth, or it's not true at all. And what we see is a lot of error, right? A lot of error with our people, the way they process information, the way they come to some kind of conclusion, right? They just go off what they've been taught of what they think of what they feel, and it's very destructive. And that's why, as a woman, if our women, the best thing you can do is listen and learn and put your own, feelings to the side. So let's go to these misconceptions, some of them. So one of the main misconceptions is people still believe in this place called hell. Most of our people are still bound to that doctrine, right? They think it's a man with a pitchfork underground with fire, and they got demons and stuff. And if you don't believe in JC, white so-called Jesus, you go get banished to hell for eternity. First off, that's complete madness. And you got to understand it like this. You know, Most is balance, right? He give us balance, right? He give us hot and cold. It's always a balance to everything. But if you got to be insane to think that it's a place called hell and you go there for eternity. They use that in the Roman Catholic Church to put fear in people so they can get money out of them. And that tradition continues to this very day. But what does that come from? Misconceptions. You have some of these sayings that you heard growing up. I know some folly that, we heard is like when, just all these myths. When the sun is shining and it's raining, the devil beating his wife. And this is stupid shit we had to endure as being under the guise of Christianity, right? And the people that was, our people that was influenced by Christianity. What was the other one? I mean, it's just so many, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to go off the top of the head and hit many as I can. So there is no place called hell. And what happens with Jake, because Jake been taught incorrectly and they've been brainwashed, when they go read the scriptures and they see the word hell, they automatically attached it to what they've been taught. They can't understand what the word really means. The word hell is a new concept. When you go back into the Hebrew and the Greek, you'll get the correct understanding of what those words mean. So when Jake see the word hell, they freeze up, right? And they go back into the indoctrination, right? So another misconception, matter of fact, let's read this definition. It says a misconception is a mistaken or wrong idea that is based on faulty thinking or incorrect facts. So what we see a lot of times with our people, they regurgitate what they've been told as a child. And a lot of times it's just a lie, it's a half truth, or just some of the truth, right? You got to have 100% of the truth. But our people regurgitate things that they heard or things that they was taught growing up, and they have internalized that as their truth. And when you don't agree with that truth, they're going to shut down mentally, right? Because it's not lining up to what they are used to, right? So this is going back into the dangers of false doctrine, right? Like I did the lesson yesterday about the living waters. See, our people are drinking from stagnation water, and that's why they poison, right? They poison in the mind in a metaphoric sense. We drinking from living waters, so we're constantly growing. We're constantly getting more knowledge and getting stronger, right, in the spirit, right? So let's go into some of these other misconceptions, lies, or straight out lies, right, that you've been taught. So a lot of people think that's Isaiah 14. They think when they see the word Lucifer there, that that's talking about the spiritual demon Satan, right? Not understanding what the word actually means. The word Lucifer just means light bearer, and that's a Latin word that was put in there. It's not a Hebrew word. So that's a new concept. And it wasn't talking about Satan, it was talking about the king of Babylon, which, if you understand what that means, is talking about the so-called Illuminati, the elites of Edom, Esau Edom, right? That control the banking and they control the financial system, right? It was talking about them because the word Illuminati means to enlighten, right? Illuminate, right? So going back into the word Lucifer, it means light bearer. So they have hidden knowledge that gives them advantage over the world, and you don't know anything about that. But that's talking about the so-called Illuminati. Esau, Edom, which you can call them, they go by many names, the elites, you know what I'm saying, the Illuminati, the powers that be, wherever you want to call them, but they control this system, right? So that's what that scripture is talking about, right? And it's talking about, that the king of Babylon would be like a president, the ruling class of this society. That's kind of lumped into all that. But going back into the international banking families, the so-called Illuminati, right? Rothschild family, Rockefeller, so on and so forth. Another misconception or a lie that our people think is the Gentiles can be grafted in. And when you go into that getting grafted in, I was talking about Israelites that had fell away, because if you know the history, the northern kingdom had went into captivity and they had got dispersed and scattered all over the place, right? So when the Messiah came on the scene, the only kingdom that was intact was the southern kingdom. The nation of Israel, once they split, the southern kingdom was called the kingdom of Judah, and the northern kingdom was called Israel, right? But two separate kingdoms. And then, when they went into captivity, right, they got dispersed among, scattered among the other nations, and, so on and so forth. It's a lot of history right there. So they think when they see the word Gentile in every single case that it's talking about the other nations. And why do they think that? Because they've been taught that. They don't know what the word Gentile mean. They haven't been taught the word Gentile can be applied to a heathen, or it can be applied to Israelite. It just depends on the context. I think like going back into Ephesians chapter 2, 2 and 11 would be a good example how the word Gentile would be used to be talking about Israelites. I think that's Ephesians chapter 2 and 11, right? So that's another misconception that and they use these words without knowing what the words mean. That's like witchcraft, right? So the Gentiles can be grafted in. So what they're saying when they apply this, they saying other nations can be now come into covenant with the nation of Israel, and that's nothing but a lie. Going back into the scripture, Jeremiah 31 and 31, Hebrews 8 and 8, and many more, the covenant is very particular, and it's saying that it's only for the nation of Israel. The kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of Judah, right? Come together as one collective 12 tribes nation, as there was in the days of King David, right? So it can't no other nation be grafted in. But you've been taught that, and a lot of Jakes think that because they have been brainwashed. When you get brainwashed, it's exactly what it's saying. It's brainwashing you, indoctrinating you, right? That means when you're indoctrinated, you can be so far gone and not know you brainwashed, and what's gonna happen, you're gonna defend what you've been taught, and you don't even know it's a lie. That's how indoctrination works. All right, most people that's indoctrinated don't even think they're indoctrinated or don't even know they're indoctrinated. Okay, that's another one. That in a garden of, so-called garden of Adam and Eve, they think them was the only two people on the earth, right? And Adam and Eve was not their name. That's just a translation into English. You have to understand these very important things. So Adam and Eve was not the only people, the two first people on this earth. That's another lie that you've been taught. And it wasn't no snake hand so-called Eve an apple, right? It ain't nowhere in scripture where it say apple. So that's another lie that you've been taught. These misconceptions, and it turns into, like a superstition with Jake, right? All right, so what's another one? All right, I'm trying to methodically go through this. So a lot of people think they think John 3:16, like the scripture John 3:16 was talking about the whole world. Not understanding what the word world means, and that the word world has different meanings. All right. In that context of John 3:16, first off, he was talking to an Israelite named Nicodemus. Secondly, that world that he was talking about was the world of Israel, the nation of Israel. Because you got something called the Roman world. You got something called the ant world. It's different worlds within this world, right? So, but you can tell our people that all day, but they've been brainwashed to interpret that John 3:16 as this talking about the whole world. And when you go into the Greek, that's why you got to go into language and understanding what words mean. when you go into the word world in that context, the Greek goes back to the word cosmos, right? When you look that word cosmos up, it's a vast, it's different things it can mean. If it was talking about the whole inhabited earth, right, it would have used the word archimini, right? Because when you look the word world up, in some cases, it goes back into the word archimini, which means the whole inhabited earth. You get what I'm saying? So that means if that word archimini would have been used in that context in John 3:16, if it was talking about the whole inhabited world, right? And how can you take a one-on-one conversation and make it apply to everybody? See, this is bad teaching, right? This the failure of the Christian church to properly teach our people, like the failure of the school systems, right? That's why most Jays can't comprehend or read. This whole society has failed you. All right. What's another misconception? Let me see. A lot of people think that it's fallen angels. That's another very popular one. They think fallen angels rebelled against, like I said, like they think Satan rebelled against the Most High, and he took 1/3 of the angels. Right now, he's on the earth doing whatever he want to do. And what cuts that is Job chapter 1 and 2. Cuts that false doctrine. So either he gonna be on earth or what? I mean, according to you Christians, I thought so-called Satan was in hell, as y'all say, as they have taught you. But how he on earth too? So he on earth creating havoc, but he in a place called hell too. It don't make sense, right? You got to make it make sense, as y'all say in the world, right? So Satan works for the Most High, and didn't know angels rebel against the Most High. The Most High created so-called evil angels, and he created so-called good angels, if you want to use that terminology, right? It's a balance. He created the good and the evil, right? So Satan is employed by the Most High. Why would the Most High create something, right? He created Satan, but Satan can overthrow him. He sit up there and molded Satan what he wanted him to be, but he didn't understand that he can rebel. It don't even make sense, man, right? But that's another misconception, another lie that you've been taught, right? And it's a lot, it's so much, it's many more of them. But I think I'm gonna call it a lesson on that. Hopefully this was edifying. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachak Qudash. Shalom.